Wait a minute, y'all.
Comment, like, and share, and comment. Comment, like, and share, and
The
comment.
boy done switched up on you.
Comment, like, and share, and comment. Comment, like, and share, and comment. Comment, like,
A
and
lying to
share,
me.
and comment.
And I know you lying.
Comment, like, and share, and comment.
Period. Wait a minute, y'all. Yes, look. If this is your very first time on this channel, run over there and subscribe for us. And after you subscribe, make sure that you hit that notification bell. It's beside the word subscribe so that you'll be notified each and every time that we upload a video. And then welcome to this great family. None of your part, but there's some things that we do. And we do them every day because they help us grow. Those things are comment like and share, and go on take for the team. Comment like and share, and go on take for the team. Comment like and share, and don't forget to comment like and share. Comment like and share. Comment like and share. Don't forget to comment like and share. Comment like and share. Comment like and share. Don't forget to comment like and share. Okay, guys, check this out. We're going to pray. We're going to get to the goodness. Here we go. Amen. How y'all doing today? How y'all doing today? Over here on the side, Big Ben is in the building, baby. Big Ben is here. Big Ben is here to help us out because we've been to get to eat. Let's see if it's not refreshing. He is. You guys, Big Ben has nothing in him but nice cold H2O. Also, over the side, I got my lip tight sauce. If you like your bottle, look way up top, screen stripes in blue. Hit that link and right there you can get your lip tight sauce. And your lips merged. Okay, that's today for the food. Baby, we got Sunday dinner. Over here, we've got some French style green beans and iced potatoes over here. Here we have some chicken and dressing. We got some baked homemade macaroni and cheese. And over here we got some fried chicken. That's what we got, y'all. And we got some white onion over here too. Let's get to eating. Let's get to eating, honey. Ooh, come through. It's a little hot there. Let's get to eating, y'all. It's got bacon and green beans, iced potatoes. Y'all, I'm gonna have some greens, but I decided I didn't want no green. I wanted something green. But I didn't want greens. The mac and cheese is hot. All this food hot, honey. Y'all in the bite of mac and cheese. It's hot. Sunday dinner. Sunday dinner, y'all. Take me back, y'all, to the traditions, you know. What we've done, why we've done it, why we do it, da-da-da-da-da-da. Family togetherness, you know. Y'all want some of the dressing? It's so moist. Jesus, take the wheel. Y'all dressing some more. Yep. So what are y'all doing today? How you doing? And what is you doing? So I'm gonna put a little white onion up here with these greens. With these green beans. So let me tell y'all this. We are sitting around the house at home. Of course, we all know, like I've reminded you. That is Black History Month. So we're sitting around at home, y'all, and we have started the original version, the 1977 series of Roots. We have, as production had to remind me because, you know, I've watched Roots many, many times all the different versions, the older version, the newer version. I like them both, but I prefer the older version. I do. Y'all don't eat the chicken, the fried chicken, get up on the pretty side. Y'all don't eat the fried chicken. Me, myself, and I prefer the older version, y'all. Let me put y'all some hot sauce on it. There you go. Get your bite. Get your bite. Hot. I prefer the original. I watch any of them. I will. But I prefer the original. Which is the one that we're watching. And I'm telling you, I just get a sense of pride and a sense of joy when it first comes on. You know, that first thing with Cicely Tyson. You know, Maya Angelou. You know, that first thing, once you having that baby, when it first come on, I automatically just get a sense of pride. I do. A sense of, I know what's to come, you know. You know. Like I said, Hussein, this will be her first time watching Roots, because now she's old enough to understand what's going on. You know. My pink sock, y'all. So with that being said, this time watching it means a lot more to me. You know. Because like I told you guys before, it is important for us to teach our children about Black history. Not just during February, but especially during February, because today is the month, the shortest month of the year, of course, that have been dedicated to African American history. You know. That's hot. But, and we've got to stay vigilant, y'all, making sure that we are just as devoted to making sure that our children, and I'm talking about our races, you know, that our children know about African American Black history. Because there's always going to come along a person or people or faction or whatever you want to call it that is going to not feel like that the history, excuse me, y'all, and the truth of not only the history, but the contribution to, you know, the world that African Americans, that Black people have brought to the table. You know, you have to be careful. You have to watch what's going on in the world. Of course, I think that we all should know, by now for sure, you know, what is going on or what has went on in the process of going on and things so over there in Florida. We can't be talking no names and stuff, because y'all know YouTube will flag certain things. I ain't gonna take no chances because for one, I mean, whatever person believes and how they believe and that's all on them. You know, you can't change a person's mind about how they think, you know, what they think, how they think. and on what importance that they lay to anything in life. But I do know this for sure. To remove any lesson, to remove any mention or not to teach anything in Black history or in American history that has to do with racism or slavery. Actually, I think it's racism and oppression is the way it is put. You're not teaching Black history. And for that fact, you're not teaching American history. You're not. No matter how unpleasant it may feel, it may look, or it may seem, you cannot erase what has happened. No matter how you try. You cannot erase the stain of those hundreds of years of slavery and oppression and racism that happened in this country. You cannot erase that. Okay? You just can't erase that. And for a politician to feel like that it's okay, or if they have a right, or if they have the power to even try to diminish what so many of us hold so sacred to us for our own history, you know, in my opinion, just ain't right. It's just not. It's just not. I understand that politicians or people, you know, of modern day, I understand that they weren't there. They didn't commit those crimes. I get that. I get that you didn't do it, sir, or ma'am, or whoever. But there's still issues and problems and things that are being fought still today that piggyback on the backs of what happened there. You know? It is. Y'all, like I said, as parents, as people, it's our obligation, or should be, you should feel a sense of obligation to make sure that your child knows African American or Black history, no matter what race you are. You should. You should. Because it teaches you, you know, the character of people. It really does. You know, it teaches you the character of people. You know, it really does. And if not watched and kept in check, like I said, there's things that still going on in this world today. That remind us quite often, and at times, that even though we have constantly broke down walls and constantly won battles and made life immensely better as a people and as a country as of today, but racism and oppression is still here. It's still here. You know, it is tried to be, or it is being masked, you know, somewhat better, you know, because now that we are truly free and fighting for equality across the board, whether it be black people or women or, LGBTQ or, all that kind of stuff, But you're talking about trying to overshadow the times when you didn't even think that a person, a human, was a human. They had the basic rights to be able to, govern their own movement. The ability to get married. The ability to vote. You know what I mean? And like I said, a lot of people, just because of a lot of people don't know the subtle things about how every facet of slavery was thought about. You know what I mean? Kind of like, to the simple effect of marriage is something that's a vow, that's a communion, that is a joining of two people, before God, and quote unquote Christian people at this time. That's why black people were not allowed to get married. You know what I'm saying? Because as a Christian person, quote unquote, what you're saying is the reasoning why, or that God condones slavery and all this different kind of stuff. But as a Christian person, if you allow two people to marry before God, that means you couldn't sell them off. You couldn't separate them. You see what I'm saying? If they were married, you couldn't sell the wife away from the husband. You catch my drill? So that's the reason why black people weren't allowed to be married back in them days. Because you still want to kind of line up with the world that your country is above reproach. You know what I'm saying? I just think of how it took a lot of gruesome things on the world stage, y'all. I'm not talking about here locally. It's something that happened in the deep south and the federal government knew about it. I'm talking about it took a lot of gruesome things on the world stage for the United States to change. But now, you want to erase it. You can't. You can't. And the thing about it is that I think that not only to try to erase or overshadow black history for the gruesome things that were done to a certain group of people or my ancestral people, I think for me, it's even more of a hurting matter or even more of a traumatic thing in my own head. Not necessarily to not teach the oppression and the slavery and the racism. I think it's more of a fix to me to overshadow the accomplishments of African Americans. For me. I'm just saying for me, y'all. I'm not saying it's not important for my daughter because we're watching Roots. I'm not saying, and we're teaching on black history. And every time I get to these programs, she say, I know. She said today. I said, well, I have to make sure that you understand, how our people, how our ancestors, how black people were treated. She said, well, I know. Because production and I have always tried to make sure that she understood where she came from. That she understood why it's important for her to make good grades and, to be a step ahead of her counterpart. Regardless of how the world is today. Regardless of, how well we have it today. And she should have it when her generation becomes the leaders of the world. You never forget what you were taught, what I was taught when I was a child. Because I always taught you got to be one step ahead. You got to be a little bit faster, a little bit smarter. Your wits have got to come to you a little bit quicker. Just to make sure that you keep yourself together. You know what I mean? So, we have to make sure that she understands Black history. That's why it's so important. Because not to understand what has happened to us as a people doesn't give them the correct focus as to where we're trying to go. You know what I'm saying? Sure, a whole lot of people in the world felt like the day that we got a Black president, baby, yeah, we done it. No, we ain't. No, we ain't. You know, yes, it has, you know, shown that it is possible. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that you have to make sure that our children know where we came from, the struggle that it took to get us where we are, so that they keep their claws dug in, moving the needle a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? To where things like George Floyd don't happen. You know? To where things like, I don't need to name them, y'all know the situation. We got to move the needle a little bit more. That's how we got to where we are today. Each generation moved the needle a little bit more. They moved it a little bit more. Sometimes they had to move it sideways to scratch the record, to come around a little bit, to get back to the middle, to go a little bit further. But they moved it every generation. Since back then in the 18th century, they moved the needle a little bit more. I think we have a job, we have an obligation to teach our children to keep the needle moving. To keep the needle moving. Really do. That's why Black history is so important. It's so important. You know, and a lot of people say, well, things are better now, Well, they may be. They just may be. That could be right. Right at the same time, even though I'm sure all people talk to their children how to conduct themselves when it comes to interaction with the law and stuff like that. But what I can tell you here, the pressures of a Black parent, an African American parent, in this day and time, whether you have a female or a male, especially if you have a male, but whether you have a female or a male, your pressures, as if you are a part of another culture, are not the same. They're just not the same. Well, we have to teach our children as a whole how to deal with certain situations in life. It don't necessarily have to be the law. It can be anything. We still have to teach our children, you know, how to conduct themselves in public. You know, they can't just grow up and be, well, they can grow up and be a child. What I'm saying, they can't, there's extra lessons that our children have to have. You know, there's extra, we got to give them a little extra oomph. You know what I mean? To make sure that they do well in life. Or we have to give them a little extra oomph to try to make sure that they understand what it takes to succeed and move the needle a little bit more. Y'all stay woke about what's going on in the world now, for real. I tell y'all that all the time. This fight for equality and justice is not over. It's not. And that's why it's important that you take it as an obligation to make sure your child is educated about what went on back then. Because what's going on in Florida could end up going on in all 51 states that are under this umbrella that they call the United States of America. It could. Where our history is watered down. They take the racism, they take the oppression part out of it, and it gets watered down so that maybe eventually it'll be bred away. Or that the conscious minds of people won't think about it. Well, you, as a parent, have to make sure that that doesn't happen. It doesn't matter what race you are. I'm speaking in the terms of the African-American race because I am Black. I am African-American. But all other cultures, you it should be important to you as well to make sure that your children know this and they understand what went on back there as well. You know what I mean? It should also be important to you to make sure that your child knows so that they can be a better person too. Because it's your children that are going to replace. You see what I'm saying? It's all about pushing the needle no matter which race that you are. Because one thing we know for sure in this country here, and I love my country now. I love my country. But one thing we know for sure is in this country here, in the United States of America, the United States of America have had its chance and had its go at more than just the black voter. They just did us the worst. You know what I'm saying? You know? They just did us the worst. But they have had times when they did things that are unsightly, unspoken of, that are true, you know, toward Hispanics, you know. You know, just look into the history. When you go looking into black history, look into the history of the Americas, period. See how railroads were built. See how this kind of stuff went on. You know, there is not one structure in the United States of America from the olden days that were built to symbolize freedom and equality for all that was not built by slaves. People who didn't have freedom or equality. You know what I'm saying? Dig into the history and see what happened with the Asian people. See what happened with the Hispanic people. You know what I'm saying? Dig into American history while you're digging into black history. Because it all should fall along together, and you'll see. The United States have done a lot of things. This country here has done a lot of things to where they brought people over here or allowed people to come over here and this, that, and the third, and, you know, got them over here and let them do what they want them to do, and then they want them gone. That's what they did to the other race. They just kept us because they went over there and shipped us from Africa. You know, when we came in and started breeding, they started breeding us. You know, once they disallowed them from going over there and catching people and bringing them back in ships, now they made breeding farms so they could just keep this going generation after generation after generation after generation. You know, there's a lot about the structure of life that our children need to know. Our children need to understand that you're not less than because you have less. You know what I mean? Actually, to be honest with you, you should hold yourself in regard that you can be equal because of where you came from, because it was designed for you to be less your entire life. Our race was designed to be less. If the Southern people hadn't have been made to change, or people, period, hadn't have been made to change by law what was going on, trust and believe there wouldn't be an equal playing field today. If some of those people back there still had their way, because they said it was going to be for now, it was yesterday, it's going to be for now, and it's going to be forever. Tomorrow and forever. That's what they felt. You know what I'm saying? So it was never meant for you to be equal. You were never on the same playing curve. So a lot of people say, well, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, the wealth of this race was built off of the oppression of this one. So therefore, you know what I'm saying, it's been, you just push the needle a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, whereas it was built for generational wealth for one race off the backs of another one. It was purposely meant for another race to have generational poverty. So you got to push the needle more and more and more and more and more and more and more until you finally get it to where, because one day it will be there. It may not be in my lifespan, and it may not be in yours, but one day, God's going to see to it being that way. Anyway, y'all, I'm rambling on now, my bad. There's so much about black history. I'm so passionate about so many things about black history. And I hope that you can feel my passion to make sure that you pass these things on to your children. Y'all, it's important to make the world a better place. We have an obligation to make the world a better place. And the only way that you make the world a better place is to make sure that they're aware of where the world came from. Period. You know, everybody in the world understand, okay, well, you didn't do that. Your family may be wealthy and still well off from the, you know, from what happened 100 years ago. On a mass scale of how it was done, I mean, it probably should be, unless you done ran into a couple of fools along the line that didn't know how to manage it. However, everybody understand that you personally wasn't a part of what went on back there, but you can't change what your ancestors done, no matter that we can change what our ancestors have been through. Okay, y'all. All right. I'm finna go. I love y'all so much. I truly do, and I'm finna get up out of here. So I'm my new legion. Thank you guys so much for being here. I truly appreciate each and every one of you because you didn't have to be here. You could have chose to be the ones in the world, but you chose to be right here with us, and we love you for it. So I'm my sister legion. Round and round we go. Round and round we go. I love you guys so much, and I'm gonna see you guys next time, okay? Wait a minute, y'all. You guys look, always remember that there's always more than one way home. All you have to do is get there. So get there, people. Get there. I love you all, and I'm gonna see you guys next time. And if you're not gonna watch me next time, you have lied to me, and I know you lied. Period. Bye bye. Y'all, I gotta go. Happy Black History Month. I get back to roots. Bye.